All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier iHypnosis life healer coach and your personal guide. Today's pod is definitely a really inspired moment of reflection or a reflection that inspired the moment. And I'm, of course, talking about changing me changes you. So let's spend a little bit of time on this together. The interesting thing, of course, is that, if you have been focusing on personal change, if you have been looking to be able to experience that shift in your life, um, there are those moments where you're able to make a shift. There are those moments when you're able to make a really powerful shift. But what's interesting is, especially as a healer, as a coach, you may have already seen this, or let me just point this out to you now. If you're really wanting to be able to create a change, a shift in your life, the interesting thing is that, you know, change not only changes you, but it changes others. Let me give you a simple uh, example here, a simple reminder here. We've just started a movement in our community. Not, typically we talk about movement challenges, but in our community we've started a movement. And so, as I have rolled this out, now I feel more drawn, I feel more focused on. Give me a moment while I lower the volume. There we go. I feel more drawn to share with my community not only my reflections, but also, more importantly, I feel that a desire to show up every day, and as I'm being space, as I am space with them, I notice that it also has that connection with me, because now when I wake up in the morning, I'm already planning out my day. It's not just about I can move at some point in the day, but I'm like, what if I finish it earlier in the day? Because then I get to tune in with my community and tell them that, hey, you know what we had talked about was basically me showing up, you showing up, and just sharing a little bit about the movement that you did, whether it was yoga or um, whatever form of movement that you chose. And so, what I find interesting is that, when you are in that place of changing yourself, it also changes others. Now it may seem pretty obvious, but to me this was more of a moment of that insight where literally it's like changing me changes you. And so maybe as a healer, maybe as a coach, if this is something that you have been struggling with, you have been fighting, which is, how do I get more consistent in my own movement? How do I really take charge of my health? How do I take care of my health? Well, if you have been looking for a hack, this is it. Literally, if you choose to do this for yourself, but in turn also do it with others, not so much as do it for others, but you do it with others. And especially, for all of us as healers and coaches, we are in that very um, extremely fortunate space that we can actually expand what we're doing, not just to us, but to our community. And so, as you work on yourself, as you change yourself, it also changes them. And I know that this is something that they will truly um, resonate with. They will value this. And so, when you shift, they shift. When you change, they change. And I'm, of course, curious and looking forward to seeing. Today we completed day two. Of course, this is just the beginning of the day, so there will be folks who will tune in from time to time in our community and our the movement group and share how they were able to move. But like I said, it's not about medals. It's not about bragging rights. It's truly about something much, much, much beyond that. So, I've been inspired over the years to record this pod. There have been times where there's a bunch of people on the call. Uh, when we used to do the live format, there have been times when there's been nobody. But for me, what's key is that I come here and I share my reflections with you, and I know that is not only changing my life, but it's also changing yours. So I want to thank you for being part of this journey. And of course, now as we're making changes, you're listening to this, especially if you're listening to this on your headphones or on your phone. And literally, if you're listening to this, it means that you're now tuning into the revitalized Live Your Purpose podcast. At this point, of course, you're probably hearing it on Spotify. But again, depending on when you're listening to this, it will probably be on other channels as well. And for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you for tuning in live. Obviously, you're getting to see, my background. You're getting to see me speak to you. So I want to thank you as well. And just a reminder that this work that we do, it really does matter. And as healers and coaches, we truly do have that gift that we've been given, and now we get to share it with the world. So, of course, having said all of that, firstly, just want to say this again. I want to acknowledge you and thank you for being who you are, the healer, the coach, and wanting to make that difference in the lives of others. And as always, if there's any way in which me or members of my community can be here with you, be here for you, just reach out and let me know. And as always, having said all of that, remember to live your purpose. God bless. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.